What's up, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to this POV review by Autobahn. My name is Max, and here we are. This is it. One of the biggest bucket list cars that we ever imagined ourselves driving is finally here, courtesy of Buena Vida Supercar Rental in the Netherlands. They have worked tirelessly for years to get this car in their fleet, and it is now available for rent at Buena Vida. This is incredible. The fact that you can rent, even for like an hour, a Bugatti Veyron, which is just nuts. One of the greatest cars ever made, one of the most significant cars ever made, the first hypercar ever made, and you can rent it now. So if you use code Autobahn with your reservation, you get a 10% discount on all their cars, but also on the Veyron. So go check them out. Link is in the description. Big thanks to Buena Vida for letting us have a drive in the Veyron this morning, because it is Sunday, 7 a.m. It is just glorious to be here. So we'll do a walk around. I'll show you around it. We'll talk a bit about the technical stuff on the Veyron, and then we'll take it for a drive towards the Autobahn for an Autobahn blast. I cannot believe I'm saying that, but yes, we are. So the Veyron really was the brainchild of Ferdinand Piëch, which is, you know, a sort of a crazy mastermind when it comes to incredible projects. He was responsible for some of the craziest things that VW or the VW group ever made. And he bought Bugatti in '98 to build the greatest supercar ever. And in 2001 it was announced that it was going in production, and in 2005 they started production. This is a 2009 car, but to get there it was a very, very difficult process, because he said it's going to have more than 1,000 horsepower and it's going to go 400 kilometers an hour. But the development of the car was so difficult, because this was stuff that was never done before in a car like this, something that was also supposed to be, you know, driven by regular people on regular roads, and not just on a salt flat in the US, or on a landing strip, or on a banked track or whatever. This was supposed to be an everyday car that could also do 400 kilometers an hour, which is kind of nuts. So, for instance, one of the big issues was aerodynamics. They put it in an F1 wind tunnel, and they discovered that it had too much lift, and they couldn't really approve it, or they couldn't really say that it would go 400, because they could only say it will go 360 safely. So they started changing little things around the car, like the mirrors, but then they discovered that the mirrors were also responsible for reducing lift. So in the end, what they decided to do, because the car is not super aerodynamic, is that they dropped the car and they move things around, in and around the car. The ride height drops, the spoiler raises or drops, and that is how they were in the end able to get 407 kilometers an hour, which was the fastest production car at the time. They built 450 of these over a period of 10 years, and yeah, it is just, this is a poster car. This is a dream car. I also think it is very, very good looking. It is smaller than you would expect, but it is as wide as a Range Rover, but it is just a little bit longer than a Porsche 911. So it's very compact, and you also feel that when you drive it. So of course there is a lot to talk about with this car. I'm going to try and give you a couple of highlights while we move around the car, because I just want to go and take it for a drive, because there's also some rain coming over there. So for instance, the grille, it used to be aluminium, but then with testing a bird went through, so they changed it to titanium. Absolutely beautiful grille with a nice Bugatti logo there. Gorgeous headlight design as well, with the daytime running lights there. Gorgeous design here for the fenders as well, nice and round and with a beautiful crease in there. And then some of the more difficult things to accomplish were wheels and tires, because no one was making tires, of course, that would go this fast. So Michelin developed a tire specifically for Bugatti for this purpose. 265 tires at the front. This is a 265 680 ZR 500A. It's a very specific tire, and you can see that it is fitted on the wheel with this edge. It's a completely different way to fit a tire than normal, and that is just because the forces that are put on this tire and on this wheel are just enormous. That's also why a set costs 25,000 euros. A set of these polished wheels, 40,000 euros. Kind of nuts. Behind that we've got ceramic brakes, massive 400mm AP Racing carbon ceramics, 8-pot at the front, 6-pot at the rear. We've got hydraulic ride height for the suspension as well. A lot of air intakes, so you know, massive radiators everywhere. Apparently there are 12 around the car. Gorgeous fuel filler cap as well with the EB logo. The car was named after Pierre Veyron, who was a Le Mans driver for Bugatti and won Le Mans in 1939 in the Type 57S. So it's actually a Veyron. Polished aluminium here. Of course, the engine, you can just see everything. Also, to extract heat from it, it is just heat management is such an issue with this 16-cylinder, 8-liter quad-turbo engine. Absolute beast of an engine. It is, well, it's more an industrial power plant. That is also what it sounds like. It sounds like a plane. It has a jet engine characteristic to it, which is just nuts. Also, this spec, super nice, right? I'm not a fan normally of white cars, but this pearlescent white is just stunning. Beautiful rear lights as well. And then you have the massive center exit exhaust with a carbon diffuser. And as you can see, the diffuser runs all the way there to halfway below the car. And then you've got another exhaust here. I never knew that actually. So do we have, yeah, we have two on each side and then one in the center. That is very cool. We also have the wing. Let me just see if we can raise that up. All right, so a little startup. Sneak peek for you guys. Okay, so I can feel the car dropping now. And there goes the wing. Look at that. You can also see part of the exhaust now. And this is all basically stuff that they use on airplanes to raise the flaps on the wings and stuff. That looks so insane. So of course we are going to do top speed mode for the car, which means that you turn the speed key, which you enter in here, and that means that the car drops 6 centimeters and the wing is flat, so the wing completely retracts for the most slippery body. And on the inside, as I said, it is very compact. So also here it is relatively small. The windscreen is very flat. It is wide, so you do have some space between you and the passenger. But it is just gorgeous. This center console is made from one piece of aluminium. You've got machined magnesium and aluminium pedals and indicator stalks. It took 5 weeks to build one of these cars, and it shows. It is, yeah, it is so good. It is so beautiful. It is so well developed and so thought out. Pretty insane. Okay, so this is the speed key. As you can see, this is a separate key you need to unlock the top speed, because normally it only goes to 370 kilometers an hour. But if you want the top speed, 407, you put the key in this hole here and then you twist it to the left and it says top speed. The car does a few like pre-flight checks. It drops the suspension, the spoiler is dropped as well, and it just, you know, checks if everything is okay to do it, like oil temperature probably, stuff like that. And then I think we should be okay. All right, so we're going to take it for a drive. I'm joined here by Danny, the owner of Buena Vida. He's going to experience this with me. And yeah, as I said, we're just going to have a go. We don't have any driving modes, I think, so it's just Veyron is Veyron. And well, this is a special driving experience. It is ridiculous the way this thing sounds, and the way it accumulates speed even on a B road is just nuts. It really is. It is incomparable to anything. This 1001 horsepower, 1250 Newton meter engine is an absolute industrial power plant. It is so effortless and easy for this engine to propel this 1900 kilo car in any direction. It is just crazy. And even though it weighs 1900 kilos, I still feel like steering feel and suspension setup has been done so well it feels much lighter actually than that 1900 kilos, which is a very big accomplishment. So gearbox, we've got this 7-speed dual clutch gearbox, which is built by Ricardo, which is a British company who spent the better part of 5 years developing this gearbox. Apparently it was very difficult to develop this, because it had to withstand the immense forces that are unleashed by this engine. A little bit of sound here. It's such a deep and dark sound. Again, incomparable to anything. But the gearbox itself cost $120,000 apparently when it was new, which is also insane. As you've noticed, basically everything on this car is very expensive, and you need to maintain it well to be able to drive it hard. Also, the top speed function, if there's anything wrong with the car, then it tells you that you cannot do the top speed. So yeah, they really thought about this. And I also really like the fact that they set up this car so that everyone can drive it basically, right? So that was their goal. It needed to be accessible. Okay, so we're going to do a run that way first to just get a feel for the car as well. We might do a couple measurements, but that's not really super important. I just want to have an idea of what the performance is like before we go the other way, which should be the better way for high speed. Here we go, full throttle. Nu weer in handling.
Ja, we moeten zelf die vleugel achter.
Ja, die vleugel ging omhoog. Maar staat hij dan nog wel in de topspeed mode? We do have to mind the traffic here. It is a Sunday after all, so of course different kind of traffic than on a weekday. So that was 200, putting my foot down, and that's 250. I also have the power indicator on the bottom left there. I don't know if you guys can see that, but if I put my foot down, it goes just over 800 and it runs up to 900. So let's do a little 100 to 200 measurement. So the wing drops 676. Top speed. To the Autobahn. It is kind of insane. Hij hield echt op bij 310. Okay. So carbon ceramic brakes to slow you down. Oh, again, this, I don't understand how they have been able to make this car feel this agile and just listen to your input so well. Right, so we're in sport mode for the gearbox as well. You can hear that it keeps the revs as long as possible, or as high as possible I should say. Back on the Autobahn we go. I can see the power indicator going up to, let's see, 900 horsepower. We have a little bit of a bump coming up here. I'm going to go for the left lane. And I should be able to floor it from here. Are a bit too close. Had a bit of a bump there as well. Okay, so this is our favorite straight. We've got the corner here, so we're going to try and get at least 300 kilometers an hour coming out of this corner. And then hope that we can see what this car will do. It sounds like a freaking plane. Full throttle. Which I think it should be down. We did do the top speed key and we did get the top speed notification, but it's just not really going in top speed mode. So that's 325 in a Bugatti Veyron. Still an incredible experience, don't get me wrong. I mean, this is automotive history. This really is. It is one of the most significant cars of the last, well, at least 50 years, maybe more. And the fact that, you know, we get to drive it now is very, very special. Okay, so we just did all the pre-flight checks again. Top speed mode is activated. Let's try one more time to see if the car will do it. There are so many things that the car looks at: tire pressure, tire temperatures, suspension, gearbox, differential. Everything needs to be okay for you to be able to do this. So if it detects anything wrong with any of these parameters, then it just says no, you can't do it. So that's probably what is happening, but let's find out one last time if it will do it. So again, we've got the corner coming up here, trying to exit at 300 kilometers an hour. Yeah, back to handling. Yeah. So congrats, Danny. Thank you for coming along. Hope you enjoyed it as well.
You didn't sleep the night.
Thank you guys for watching. Hope you enjoyed it. You can subscribe by clicking the big button in the middle. You can also check out this video, this playlist, and I'll see you at the next one. Bye.